All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We're talking about the Atlanta Falcons in today's video. 31-26 victory against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers yesterday afternoon on the road, might I add. I know it's not perfect, specifically the defense, specifically pressure rate, sacks. We'll get to that towards the end of the video, but folks, if we're judging this 5-3 Falcons team through the first 8 weeks of the regular season, you don't want to play them. I mean, you don't want to play them. And you'll have some duds like Philly a couple of weeks ago. But most importantly, the offense is clicking at a more consistent rate, unlike the first month of the season where, Kirk's working himself back from injuries, a lot of new faces, new coaching staff. Takes a little bit of time to accumulate, but it's an 18-week season, 17 games in a season. You're not going to want to play this Falcons team in the playoffs. And look at that schedule, that second half schedule. This is like an 11 or 12 win team here. But most importantly, the Atlanta Falcons are now 2-0 in the NFC South. Two of those obviously coming against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who's, the Saints are trending down fast and desperately. Carolina, the same thing. If you want to win that division, which the Atlanta Falcons look pretty poised to do right now, going 2-0 against Tampa, Atlanta could have a home playoff game. And I don't care if they're still dealing with defensive issues, specifically, once again, the pass rush. You're not going to want to go to Atlanta against Kirk Cousins and all these weapons offensively and play them in Atlanta. All right, so welcome back to the channel. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. Before we get into it, hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. We at least post one Falcons video every single week. Falcons fans, NFL fans, if you try and get this video to 250 likes, that would mean the absolute world to me. So Kirk Cousins, against the two games against Tampa this season, 65-87 for almost 800 yards, 8 touchdowns, only 1 interception. Kirk actually became the 4th quarterback in league history with more than 750 passing yards and 8 or more touchdowns against a single opponent in a season. And I want to take a quick look at PFF here because we're in an offensive-driven league. You definitely need defense. Defense certainly still contributes to winning championships, but in 2024 it's a fast-paced NFL world, and if you can't put points on the board, if you can't put up touchdowns on a week-to-week basis, you're not going to win many football games. And that's the difference between this year with Kirk Cousins and last year with a guy like Desmond Ridder. But here's the top 5 highest graded Falcons in that win yesterday. 4 of them are offense. All right, Kirk Cousins 90.9, Jesse Bates 90.9, Bijan Robinson 89.5, Kyle Pitts, who we'll talk about in just a second here, 86.8. Chris Lindstrom, 86.2. This is a top 10 scoring offense in the NFL. And, especially we go back to that first month of the season, they're really hitting their stride. All right, Kyle Pitts, first multi-touchdown game of his NFL career, scoring from 36 and 49 on his first 2 catches on National Tight Ends Day. And I know that second touchdown shouldn't have been a touchdown, and that was Kyle Pitts being lazy, and a lot of Falcons fans, rightfully so, are pissed off about it, but hopefully this is another learning lesson for Kyle to never do anything like that. But we got to talk about this defense real quick, man. Jesse freaking Bates forced a fumble, snagged an interception, made 3 stops against Tampa, earned that 90.9 PFF grade. Jesse Bates, who gets paid a boatload of money, it almost seems like it was a steal of a signing. I mean, this guy might be the best safety in the National Football League. But, just to speak real quick on this defense, I know Tampa, you got Baker Mayfield, they're without Mike Evans. Obviously they're without Chris Godwin. Baker loves to throw the football in general, but, the defense does probably need a piece here. And the reason is because I think we're less than a week away from the NFL trade deadline, or maybe it's 8 days away at the time of this recording. Tampa went 9 of 14 on third downs. Atlanta had no sacks. They actually had no quarterback hits, and Baker Mayfield threw the ball 50 times. All right, Atlanta has not finished in the top half of the league in sacks since 2017. Not coincidentally, that was the last time this Falcons team made the playoffs. Atlanta's currently 23rd in EPA per play on defense, and this is the worst stat you'll hear all day. Opponents have scored 48.7% of their drives. That's the third highest rate in the league. All right, the Falcons have one of the worst pass rush units still 8 weeks into the season. They're 29th in pressure. They're 32nd in sack rate at just 2.2%. Folks, that's one of the worst sack rates in the NFL since 2000. Only the 2007 Carolina Panthers, the 2008 Kansas City Chiefs, and the 2009 Jacksonville Jaguars had a worse sack rate after week 8 than the Falcons currently have. None of those teams had winning records. Now, obviously, context is important here. That's why you have A.J. Terrell. That's why you have Jesse Bates. It's not like this Falcons defense, and they're like middle of the pack in most defensive statistics, except for pass rush, win rate, and sacks and pressures, et cetera, et cetera. They're still a good cohesive unit, but we're not seeing what we wanted to from Matt Judon specifically. That deadline is about a week away. I would not be surprised if Atlanta made some type of move there. But once again, I'm not trying to rag on this defense just because they're not hitting the quarterback. But it's not perfect. It's not perfect. If you got Super Bowl aspirations this season, a pass rusher needs to come in here, in my opinion, at least. But obviously, the good news here, the line in the sand, Kirk Cousins against Tampa's defense. And I know Tampa, statistically, their defense isn't the best in the NFL. 23-29, 276 yards, 4 touchdowns, most importantly, 0 interceptions. And real quick, by the way, they still won the turnover margin +3. All right, so as bad as the defensive pass rush was, they still had 3 turnovers as opposed to your 0, or forced 3 turnovers as opposed to your 0. Kirk Cousins thrown for 9.5 yards per completion. Bijan Robinson still a stud. 13 carries, 63 yards, averaging just under 5 yards per carry. He is going to be healthy for this playoffs, and I like that they're not overdoing it no matter the way the game's looking. Tyler Algier, not as crazy of a game, 12 carries, 33 yards, but as a whole, the Atlanta Falcons ran the ball 29 times for 129 yards, averaging 4.4 yards per carry, and Captain Kirk Cousins had a huge 13-yard run towards the end of that football game. He's looking more and more mobile, more and more in control, more poised, more accurate. He's looking the part. That's why you brought him in here, and he is looking the part. And now we're starting to see in the last couple of weeks that mobility come back. Kyle Pitts, 4 catches, 91 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Darnell Mooney's been one of the most underrated free agent acquisitions of the entire NFL offseason. 4 catches, 86 yards, and a touchdown. Bijan Robinson had a good run game, but he also had 7 catches for 43 yards and that huge touchdown. Quiet night from my man Drake London on my fantasy team, but it is what it is. It was Darnell and Kyle Pitts' show yesterday afternoon. So, folks, take a look at that second half schedule here. You don't have your bye week for 3 more weeks, but you got a big time matchup at home next weekend against the Dallas Cowgirls, who are coming off another horrid loss, and they're 3-4. So this Atlanta team, things are looking good. That offense is really clicking. I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say about yesterday's win. So let me know down below. Give me a team grade. Let me know if you guys want any trade acquisition, specifically with that pass rush. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you in a couple of days. That's it from me. Peace.